Happy Monday morning. It is a Monday, and that means I get the privilege of talking to one of the Leap for Ladies community members. And today I'm excited for everybody to get to know a little bit more about Jessica Rickert. So, Jessica, welcome to the spotlight, and thank you for being a member of the Leap community. Tell our listeners or watchers, if they're watching us live or listening to the recording later, a little bit about you and what you get to do for a living.
Yeah, well, my name's Jessica Rickert, and I own Jessica Rickert Coaching. I'm a life coach for women. So I help women uncover solutions to their life challenges. And I just want all women to live their best life. So I help them through goal setting and creating habits, kind of working on our mindset and reframing our thoughts. And I just work with them. I'm a problem solving partner. And I meet people where they're at. So I don't have this scripted program about, okay, we're on page 5 now, and we got to go to page 6. It's really about, what's your issue? What do you want to do? And then giving you some ideas and solutions, but really working with women to think about what's going to work for them and how do they want to make their life better, because I want to give people tools so they can leave me and go on and use these tools to tackle other problems that come up in their life, because we always have those and we just want a lot of tools to help us with that.
I love that. I love that. And, it's such a broad thing to have a happy life, right? Because for one person, it might mean one set of things and another person, another set of things. So how do you kind of help people define what happiness means for them?
Yeah, I think it's really digging into what's holding them back. There's always one thing. Well, there's usually many things that we're struggling with in life, and life is always with struggles, and that's just a part of life. But is there one big thing that is holding somebody back? Like maybe it's time management, that I just feel overwhelmed and crazy with my life, or is it health and wellness and I don't feel good? And so trying to work through those things. And I think it's starting with that conversation of, digging into what's the problem right now? How are you feeling? And then, looking at, excuse me, forward at the future, like what to them is living their best life. What does that look like? What does that feel like? What does that mean to them? And then kind of going backwards about, okay, what's been holding you back for living that better life? And what are some things that you might have wanted to do or tried, or you've tried and feel like you failed with them? And then how can we look at doing it a little bit differently as well?
Nice, nice. So I know you have a lot of tools in your tool belt, right? So as do I, right? As many coaches, right? Our best tool is sometimes just asking the right question at the right time. But what are some either favorite questions that you ask your clients and or favorite tools that you'd use to help with them?
Favorite questions are probably just if you could design your best life, what does that look like? And I want them to really visualize that. Like, how do you feel in your body? What could you imagine could your life look like? And then the tools, one of the best tools, and I know it's November, so it's kind of cliche, but
Yeah.
and totally leaning into gratitude, because that comes with the mindset tool as well, because our brains are set up for looking at the negative. And so we automatically go there, and we have to build up that gratitude muscle. So that's one of the first things that I start out with my clients, and that's how we start every one of our meetings, is what are you grateful for? So you have to focus on the positive and not like, oh, everything's great and wonderful, but really like, okay, what is good in your life? Because there are lots of good things in our life. We just don't focus on them. And then also, I think we have to train ourselves. Okay, something is going not well in our lives, or I'm struggling with this. What can you find? What gratitude can you find in that? What's the lesson that you can learn? Because I've worked with clients who have just gone down that dark path. My life is awful. Everything is bad. And it's really about turning that focus around. And so gratitude is a huge tool I use with every single client, no matter what they're struggling with.
Yeah, great, great. And it is November, so there's lots of things talking about gratitude, but it's not just a thing we should do in November around Thanksgiving, right? We should have gratitude all year long.
Yes.
And so we want to make sure, I start every coaching session, all my workshops, those kind of things with celebrating a win. And clients that have been with me for years or a long time, right? They're still stumped when I ask them. They know I'm going to ask them for a win, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, a win! I forgot you were going to ask me for one." We
Right.
just don't celebrate those things. We don't think about the things that are going right.
Mhm.
So we need to build that in. It's a muscle that we have to really build in and focus on. And the gratitude really helps us figure out what we can celebrate in our life. So I love
Absolutely.
that you're out there helping people do that as well. So
Yes.
yes. So what is something that you're celebrating in your work?
I'm celebrating just being able to help people, whether that's clients or friends or family. Just that's kind of when I started this whole thing, when I quit my day job or my 9 to 5 job. I kept focusing on what do I really want? And I
Yeah.
want to help people. And that's a broad thing. So right now, because I don't have a 9 to 5, I can help my family. I watch my niece and nephew, and that really helps out my brother-in-law and my sister and my niece and nephew. I get to spend more time with my parents, and I can help them with things. With friends, they always come to me asking for advice or support so I can help them. And then with my clients, just helping them kind of identifying and living that better life, making those changes. Maybe they're small changes or big changes, but it's really cool when any of those people in my life come to me because they know that I'm going to listen, and I'm not just going to tell them what to do, but also just being that support person for anybody. That's my celebration this year, is just helping people. And I think expanding my mindset about, okay, it's not just about the people that pay me to help them, but how
Yeah.
can I help people just in general out in the world, whether they're close to me or it's even just a stranger that I meet at the grocery store.
Yes, I love that, Jessica, because we are we are how we show up, right? Whether we're showing up in work or whether we're showing up as a volunteer or just in the community in general or with our families, right? And so I teach a class called Pinnacle Gift, and it really defines like here's how I show up as a human being, and then yes, I apply that to the work I get to do, but it's also much broader than that too, right? So I love that you're looking at that in that broader scope. And I think that helps people to feel when we go back to what is your ideal life, I think most people want to contribute in some way. Um, I have my 3 C's: connect, contribute, and celebrate. So we talked about the celebrate piece. Now we're talking about the contribution piece.
Yes.
I think people are generally wired to support each other, to help each other. And there's a lot of discourse out there, a lot of noise about us versus them and all of that kind of stuff. But I think in general, we all want to help each other. We're wired that way. So I love that you're helping yourself see and then being the model for other people to say, okay, if your purpose is to help people, that doesn't just mean in your work and what you get paid to do, right? So I love that. It's such an important piece of building a strong community.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, I love it. So what is your favorite way to work with clients?
One-on-one is really how I thrive with clients. I do teach workshops, but really the one-on-one work, you can kind of
Mhm.
dig down and get really personal. And it's amazing. Like I thought at first when I started, it had to be in person, but Zoom, I mean, what we're doing right now, it's like we're
Yeah,
just having a conversation. So really over virtually, but just one-on-one, having that hour to really talk to clients and connect with them, dig into what's going on, what's holding them back. And just, I love creating with them, like creating this new life for them and with them. Um,
yeah,
that is so fun. And it's just like when we're having these conversations and when I'm asking the questions, seeing that light bulb go on. And I know you do this as well, just
yeah,
like when they figure it out, it's like, yes, you've got it. You can do this. And you have it in you, but we don't always believe that. And sometimes we just need somebody else to ask that right question or kind of talk back to us about, oh, that's what I said. Yeah, I do know what I'm talking about. And I do know how to help myself.
Yes, I love that. Those aha moments are what bring us joy as coaches, right? When we can help somebody see something differently or have a new perspective or finally reach that goal that they've been thinking was impossible
Yeah.
for so long. And I know you're a big proponent of habits and building habits to help change the way we do things, right? Or if we want to improve something, really building those habits so that you can get to that final step. So, talk a little bit about habits and habit stacking. I've heard you talk about that before at some of your talks. So, share some of those tools with us.
Well, I think going back to the gratitude, that is a habit that you build. It's not an
Mhm,
automatic thing. And so if we're going to build this better life, you have to put these habits in place and it has to become a system. And so, one of the clients that I worked with, she really was in a rut. And so, we worked on gratitude. And so, talking about, okay, you need to build this gratitude practice. And let's start with just in the morning, one time in the morning, you're going to say what you're grateful for. How many
mhm,
things do you want to do? Because I think you need to get really specific with your habits too, to kind of create that. So at first, she said, okay, I'm going to focus on saying 3 things I'm grateful for in the morning. And so then with the habit stacking piece, it's okay, what do you do regularly in the morning every single day that you don't think about? And she said, well, I brush my teeth every morning and I don't even think about that. And so we talked about, okay, so while you're brushing your teeth, I want you to, in your head, think about 3 things that you're grateful for. And she said, okay, I can do that. And she even put a sticky note on her mirror just to remind her, but it was the same time, the same place. And so by pairing something that she did and didn't have to think about brushing her
mhm,
teeth, and then really focusing on that gratitude, it built that habit. And then we kind of expanded that. Okay, that is working. So now how can we expand that in the rest of your day? Okay, what do you do midday? What's something that you do? And she said, well, I eat lunch at the same time every day. And so she decided, okay, when I'm eating lunch, I'm going to focus on 3 more things that I'm grateful for. And
mhm,
then expanding it to nighttime. And what do you do regularly at night? Well, I brush my teeth again. So let's go back to that gratitude. And so
mhm.
she found that when she stacked those habits, it built that gratitude practice. And she saw a change in her perspective, a shift in her mindset just by doing that.
I love that. I love that. And they're not hard to do, right? I love the quote by Jim Rohn, you should eat an apple a day. We all heard that saying, right, for better health. He goes, it's easy to eat an apple a day, but it's just as easy not to eat the apple every day, right? So these aren't hard things that you're asking people to do.
Mhm.
It's a matter of just thinking of 3 things while you're brushing your teeth, right? And so I love building it into your day in the routines that where you already are doing something consistently. So um, and then I think the key to any practice improvement is consistency, right? So building it in when you're already doing something makes it easier to make that thing happen. It makes it easier to eat the apple every day, right? So and those things compound. All of those little things that you're doing compound so that in a month I'm sure she felt so much better, and in a year of doing that you're just in a completely different headspace, right, just by
Yes.
doing that one little piece. Yeah.
Yeah, and it started becoming automatic for her, and that's where we
Hmm.
want to get for most of our habits. It's just this thing that you do that you don't have to think about anymore. But at first, you do have to think about it and implement it. And same
Hmm.
time, same place really helps with that consistency.
Yes, love that. Thanks for that little tip. So, okay, I have been putting all of Jessica's contact information in the comments. So you'll see her website there. You'll see her LinkedIn profile there. So go connect with her on LinkedIn. And also, I'm going to put her your discovery call. So if you're resonating with what Jessica is saying and you're like, okay, I need to have a phone call with her, Jessica is happy to schedule a phone call. You can hop on her calendar using this link I just put in the chat. We'll also put it in the show notes so that you can find it later if you're watching this recording. Um, and then any other way that you like to have people contact you? So I put in LinkedIn, your website, and your calendar link.
Yes. Email is fine too, but really through that discovery link is the best way to do it. And then we
Okay.
can sit down and just have that free, if you want a phone call, or we can do it virtually, just to connect and see, how can I help you? And I think it's always, I mean, you know this too, Mary,
Yeah.
it's very personal. And so you have to make sure that you feel comfortable with the person that is going to coach you. And sometimes personalities don't match up and sometimes they do. So that's why I really like to have that first initial conversation to see if my personality matches with what you're looking for,
Yeah.
and if my process is something that you think can help you.
Nice. I love that. I love that. Okay, so now we're going to do a couple of quick get to know you questions,
Okay.
just for random fun because it's a member spotlight. So, what is a job you'd never want to do?
Oh, cleaning hotel rooms. I was just traveling and I just thought about that. And I just I have this really bad gag reflex and I don't
Oh,
have hair that's not attached to my body. So I actually say my gratitude towards, thank God somebody else is cleaning this hotel room, because I physically don't think that I could deal with that.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's a that's a good one. Yes. Um, this is a fun one. If your name was on a product, what would that product be?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Um, I think, maybe just like a motivational podcast, or like a book of quotes, maybe a book of quotes, because I love
Nice.
great quotes. And so I would just gather quotes from other people that was like a motivational quote book.
Nice, nice. I love it. So there's a project in there for you, right? So, um, let's see. If you found $100 on the ground, what would you do with it?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'd be
Mhm.
tempted to either put it away and save it, but if I was going to spend it, probably taking my family out to a nice dinner, or doing an experience. Like Christmas time
Mhm.
is coming up, so we love going to the zoo lights.
Yeah,
I love taking my niece and nephew to things because they just love to experience different experiences. So maybe
nice.
between garden lights, something like that.
Yeah, fun. I love experiences. I'm all about let's don't buy more stuff that we don't
Right.
need, right? Let's go experience some joy in our lives and make some memories. So, I love that answer. All right. Well, we are at time. So thank you again, Jessica, for being a Leap for Ladies member and for coming on and doing the spotlight this morning. And for those of you watching later, please check out the show notes and connect with Jessica on LinkedIn so you can follow along with what she's doing. Go to her website, see all the things she has to offer, and then book that free call with her to see if she can help you. As we're coming into the new year, we want to make sure if you've got these goals that you're setting for yourself, please make sure you get some support in making sure that you can achieve those things and break them down into small steps. And Jessica can help you build those habits in so that you can be successful. All
Thank you.
right. Thanks so much, Jessica. Have a great day.
Thanks.